Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angela Brand, and I'm with Nami, California, and I'd like to welcome you to our town hall today, honoring Bebe Campbell, supporting the mental health needs of those in diverse communities. We have a really amazing panel of folks that have joined us today. But before we get started, I wanted to go through just a few housekeeping things. We'll go to the next slide. So just for everyone's knowledge, today's event is being recorded. We do have all of our attendees in listen only mode, but if you have any questions, comments, anything that you'd like to share with us throughout the event today, we do invite you to use the chat box. And we're also using an interactive polling feature during today's event. Participation in this is completely voluntary. It is anonymous, but we do encourage you to join in and use this platform. It does help us understand who's in the room, and any questions that we ask throughout the event, we'll use this platform. We'll go to the next slide. So the platform that we use is called Mentimeter, and you can join in using either your smartphone or you can open another tab in your computer. If you go to menti.com, www.menti.com, it will prompt you for a code. That code is 54743721. And again, you don't have to download anything. You don't have to enter your name or any personal information. It just gives us the responses that you share with us. So thank you. Ragini's entered the link to Mentimeter in the chat box, and we'll have that code available too. We'll go to the next screen. So there, just some additional visual instructions on how to join us through Mentimeter. So the first question we ask is just to get a feel for kind of where you're all coming in from today. So what county are you joining us from? Sacramento, LA, Fresno, San Diego. County. It's exciting. We've got folks from all over. All right, so we'll go to the next slide. And the next polling question we have, oh, Humboldt. Hey, Humboldt. And then for those of you that don't want to enter in Menti, you can also put your responses in the chat box too, if you're more comfortable with that. So excited to see folks from across the state. Welcome. Let's go to the next slide and the next question. This gives us an idea of kind of who's in the room. So how do you identify family member, parent, caregiver, consumer, if you're with one of our affiliates, maybe working with a community-based organization, if you're a student, someone who's employed by the county. Thank you all for your responses. So we'll give you some time to finish that. In the meantime, we'll go to the next screen and I'll cover just a couple of our housekeeping reminders for you all. So as we gather in these spaces, we like to bring together different folks from different experiences, perspectives, and backgrounds. These town halls have been a really great way for us at Nami, California to connect folks across the state to those working at state agencies and entities, often tasked with oversight or development of our state's mental health system. We've also brought you community partners to come in and talk about the work that they're doing across different populations and communities. And in that space, it's really important to us as a team to ensure that what is shared here is open, that it's an inclusive space, and that the perspectives shared are open to all, that there isn't any judgment, criticism, harsh words. And so we've developed these community agreements that we ask folks to observe during this and all of our events. And so they're here on the screen. And as a reminder, we ask that folks be kind and courteous, that folks listen attentively with an open mind, to speak honestly and share the space, that the learning leaves, but the names stay, that folks step up and then step back and reserve the right to change your mind. We'll go to the next slide. And again, welcome from Nami, California. I'm Angela Brand. We'll move to the next slide and we'll talk a little bit about our event today. So we're here today honoring Bebe Campbell. July is National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And so in the honor of Bebe Campbell, we've brought together some of our partners from Nami Urban LA to share about the work that they're doing. But before we get into that, I really wanted to take a moment just to kind of talk a little bit about Bebe Campbell, the legacy of her work, and the things that she did as one of the co-founders of Nami Urban LA. Excuse me. So, as I said, July is recognized as Bebe Campbell National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. Bebe Campbell was a best-selling author, award-winning author. She was an advocate and the co-founder of Nami Urban Los Angeles. She worked as a national spokesperson tirelessly to advocate for mental health education and to eliminate the stigma among diverse communities. In 2005, she and a longtime friend, Linda Wharton Boyd, began to think about developing a campaign to dedicate a month to these advocacy efforts. Through that, outlining sort of the concept of what it would look like to have a National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month and how they would go about doing something like that. So they started with folks that were in support in the DC area, and really kind of started this campaign, speaking in churches, going kind of on tour. And so it really started to gain a lot of momentum. Unfortunately, in 2005, Bebe was diagnosed with cancer and passed away in 2006. In her honor, her friend Linda and others around her started to pick back up the campaign to start this awareness month. And in 2008, the US House of Representatives announced that July would be honored as Bebe Campbell National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So as we do every July, we share resources for folks from unserved and historically underserved communities, seeking to elevate those voices, seeking to bring back to the conversation the need for equitable access to mental health care services and supports for all folks in all communities. And one of the ways that we do that is through conversations like we're having today, honoring the work of those in communities, serving populations that often don't have access to equitable mental and physical health care. We know also through COVID-19 that these disparities have been further exacerbated. And so the conversation around access to care is always important, but really with the lens of COVID-19, we've been able to highlight that much more than we have in the past. And so we have shared some information on the screen here, things that you could do to honor Bebe's legacy, to work for communities in need. We have some resources on our NAMI California website. We invite you to participate in some of the 30-second surveys that we have around mental health needs in diverse communities. We invite you to share your story with our team here. And we also have some resources and videos posted that we invite you to take a look at. And I see that our team has posted those links in the chat box for you as well. So we will go ahead and turn this over to our amazing team from Nami Urban Los Angeles. We'll go to the next screen here. So these are our presenters today. We have Harold Turner, who's Director of Programs at Nami Urban LA, Narit Admasu, who's the Program Designer, Community Organizer, Social Justice Advocate, Maria Escobar, who works with the Latino Outreach Department, and Araceli Hernandez, who's the Youth and Young Adult Outreach Coordinator. So they're gonna, Sorry, I sounded like, I'm sorry. So they're going to share with you the work that they're doing at Nami Urban LA through their different programs and initiatives. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to them and we'll get started. So welcome to everyone from Nami Urban LA. We're really excited to have you here with us today to share about the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Angela. Again, I'm Harold Turner. I'm the Executive Director of Programs, Chief Cook, bottle washer, whatever's required at Nami Urban Los Angeles, as are all of us. You know, we're just committed to doing the work, and that's why we're here. And I'd like to give a big thank you out to Nami, California, for taking the time to reiterate the importance of the Bebe Campbell National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And before we delve right into it a little bit, I wanted to just touch on that again. Normally, this would happen in person, you know, in Sacramento every year, and I sort of look forward to that. I'm always excited by the participation we get from all over the state. And another footnote on that activity that's pretty annual here in California. We would attend a session of the California legislature, and you know, a proclamation would be made surrounding the month by State Senator Holly Mitchell was the person who was doing that. Holly Mitchell is now not in the legislature anymore. Actually, she's a supervisor here in Los Angeles County, supervisor of the 2nd District, which encompasses the areas that Nami Urban Los Angeles serves. So I'm glad to have her here, and I do miss being there in person, you know, with Nami, California. And again, really appreciate, you know, their dedication to working with the legislature and everyone else to make sure that this day is commemorated. So that's kind of ties into another thing. We have a little saying, I guess, that we've been doing since erase the stigma, not her name. There's been this tendency to refer to it, or some people wanted to change the name to Black, Indigenous, and People of Color Month, you know, or BIPOC Month. And I don't have a problem with that, but I think, you know, it's very important that we be humble before those who have gone before us. And we're taking up their legacy, and that we not forget that. So I'm all in favor of that, but not when it's referred to as the reason for the month of July. So Bebe challenged us. We continue to move forward with that, and I'm excited about it. But I would just ask that we observe the name as it was intended, as the Congress passed it. So we continue to honor her as well. She could have very well gotten what she needed in terms of mental health and how to care for a loved one who's living with mental illness, and gone about her way. Certainly she had the resources to do that. But having connected with Nami and our Nami friends in Nami West Side, took the family to family class, found it very, as I did when I took it, transformational, and decided this was something not only that she needed, but that our community needed. You know, so that's when the process started of founding Nami Urban Los Angeles. Some of the original group, it started off as a ladies' prayer group, but Bebe was there. Nancy Carter, who wasn't able to be with us today, many of you may know her, was one of our founding members. Bonnie Council, who's still on our board, was a founding member. And Ellis Gordon, who is BB's husband, is still treasurer of our organization. And we've taken up this mantle of making sure that programs and services are made available to those who need them most in our communities. And we continue to do that and try and live up to this legacy of service, that she left behind. Nami Urban Los Angeles first started as Nami Inglewood, I think in 2000, and then in 2003, moved to Los Angeles, became Nami Urban Los Angeles. And when I came to Nami, it was, fortunately, I never got to meet Bebe. She passed away in 2006. I came in 2007, like most people do, seeking services for myself and my family. Signed up and took the family to family course, and it was amazing. By that time, I had already been out there about 9 years looking for resources, direction, trying to understand the nature of mental illness and what could I do to help my loved one. So I was a little skeptical that it could do what it said. But I signed up for the family to family class, and I was amazed. Like I said, it wasn't just educational for me. It was transformative. I started to volunteer at that point and became a family to family teacher and state trainer and all that. And the affiliate had started to grow. Maybe some of you have been around long enough to remember when family to family was a 12-week course. It was only offered twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. So needless to say, that was not enough to meet the need or the demand that we had for our education programs. So about 2010, I retired and took up more opportunities to volunteer and expand my role at Nami Urban Los Angeles. And we wanted to, at that time, we had a saying that, that Nami Urban Los Angeles was the community's voice on mental illness. And we believe that, but it sort of begged the question, what is community? So we started to look around at South Los Angeles, which is where we are in the Leimert Park area. And actually went to the LA Times demographic database. And exactly what is our community? What community are we claiming to be the voice for? And found out that South Los Angeles was made up of 26 different neighborhoods, and 22 of those were predominantly Spanish speaking. So it was sort of raised some question about using the term. So we had started to think about expanding our programs and then started outreaching to the Spanish-speaking community. Needless to say, it was difficult at first, but we were able to, over time, get in contact with people who knew the community, were from the community, and worked in the area. We were able to recruit some volunteers and assistants from the Spanish-speaking community, from the Promotores program that was part of the LA County Department of Mental Health at that time. And we reached out and were able to recruit Rosa Alvarez, who's been a great contributor to our program. And it was just amazing how it turned around. You know, we were doing so much more. Instead of just those 2 classes we were doing, we started increasing the frequency and the number of classes that we could do, and started to do outreach in Spanish. You know, I tried that on my own. It wasn't working. You really do need people from the community to make those connections in the community. You know, people were very kind, and you know, and when you reached out to them, but not having the language, not having the culture, you know, it just didn't show up. You know, until we had people who were from the community able to do that outreach, and it just took off. So in about 3 years' time, we had achieved language parity between English and Spanish. So all the programs that we were offering in English, we were also offering in Spanish. And we continued to grow because we expanded the area of coverage for our Spanish-speaking communities, you know, to the South Los Angeles area. And we have a sizable part of the community that are even monolingual. So it's very important that we have people from the community be able to do that outreach. And then there's a southeast area of LA County, kind of made up of the Linwood, Bell Gardens area. And we were able to connect with Ana Gonzalez from that area, who's very community focused and very much aware of the need in that community to partner with us to provide services in that area. So it just took off from that standpoint. And I think in Los Angeles, we were probably the largest provider of Spanish language programs in Los Angeles County. Okay, so that's kind of, you know, how we evolved, and it kind of led to our strategic direction, which is one we call, you know, community empowerment. Right? So community empowerment simply means we go into communities, we recruit people, mainly people who are bilingual, to tell them about Nami's programs and services and what we have to offer. And if they're interested, we provide them with education and logistical support they need to be able to, you know, take these programs and services back in their communities. So that was kind of what we're using. More recently, we're doing that with the Korean speaking community. Now, we've had a cadre of people that we've been able to educate, who've taken to family and have gone through the program. You know, we wanted to get them to be teachers and then to be able to offer those programs and services that we found so beneficial, you know, in the Korean community. I don't know if any of you were able to see the Bebe Campbell event that was sponsored on Sunday, the 25th by Nami Urban Los Angeles. That Pastor Sung Na gave a very moving talk there about the effect that Nami has had in the Korean speaking community. And that just inspires us, you know, to do more, you know, and for other communities. You know, we are for it. Believe that everybody has a right to mental health services. And we want to do what we can to ensure that they get connected with those services and resources they need to live the best life possible for those families and those loved ones who have lived experience of living with mental illness. So I talked a little bit about the programs and the programs that we're offering out in the communities, but we can't do this alone. Some members of our staff are here today. There are others who can't be with us. Rowena Rucker is our education coordinator. We have Angela McConnor and Linda Finley, who are our office managers and accounting staff, and keep us all in line from that perspective. We have Melissa Matt, who is our webmaster and also facilitator for our Zoom endeavors. Just a lot of people make this work. And so we're involved in not only the Nami, family to family programs and other programs, the signature Nami programs, but thanks to Nami California, we're also a part of the CCP program doing COVID outreach. And we have members, Carolyn Winston, Daniel Mayotte, Nikia Turner, Nikisha Patrick, and Elsa Linares, and Kaylee, who are part of that effort. We're also, and I almost forgot, Winnie Turner, who happens to be my wife. Thank you, whoever gave me a heads up on that, because actually she's how I came to Nami. I really would like to say I was knowledgeable enough or astute enough to walk in the door and try to get help, but actually I came kicking and screaming. So in order to get peace, I had to come. And when I come, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. And I thank Winnie for that. So, again, in talking back on community, we're very big on community. This is, we have healthy individuals lead to healthy families lead to healthy communities, and that's what we believe. And that's what we are trying to do. So before I get too much further down the road to this, I want to talk about some of the programs and things that we're doing in NAMI and some of the people we're partnering with to make a difference in our community. So let me turn it over to Norit Masu.
Thank you. And yeah, just like you mentioned, a lot of the things that we do, we've all come to NAMI for so many different reasons and found, just a beautiful community, a beautiful family. And that's what motivated me to want to be a part of it. So right now, I manage the youth and young adult programming at NAMI Urban LA. And this is a picture here from times that were more COVID-free, we'll say. This is a picture from one of our partner schools as part of the Linwood School District, where we had an outreach event that we were supporting for our NAMI on Campus community. So NAMI on Campus, as some of you may know, is a program where student leaders from a given school community will partner with us, and we will just provide them some resources and some ideas, whatever level of support that they feel that they can benefit from, and just encourage them and empower them to be advocates and mental health leaders within their school environment. And this is something that's just brought like so much continual just like inspiration to us, just because there's so many great ideas that come from students, so much hope that comes from, just having a forum for them to connect and put their brilliant heads together. So we've been really just full of gratitude throughout this pandemic, but also, yeah, just full of gratitude looking forward, because we have a lot of inquiries that are coming in about this program. And it's really just one thing leads to another. So students from one school will share with students from another. And it's something that we think has just like a lot of value, not just in the short term, but also in the future. We've had a student who is now going to law school that wants to expand the program to Nami on campus at his law school. So just something that we think is just of tremendous value and tremendous source of hope. And yeah, again, so we have this program that we've partnered with schools on the high school and the university level. And again, this program also is a great way that we can link members of a school community to our organization for other services, for other programs. This outreach event was one that was not only like a recruitment event for students to join the club, but also just a way of for students to learn more about programs they can share with their family members. And the same is also true with kind of the next, like one of the other focuses of my work at NAMI, which is the Cultural Trauma and Mental Health Resiliency Project. And so this project is one that we were fortunate enough to have as part of a partnership with Common Spirit, which is a hospital network in our area. And they have partnered with us to do some outreach into our community regarding facilitating and leading some QPR trainings. And QPR is short for Question, Persuade, and Refer. It's an hour and a half to 2 hour suicide prevention training. And it's a skills training. So people are trained in just the ability to kind of recognize when someone might be at risk of suicide, and then also be able to connect that person with resources and inspire some hope and just some feel supported throughout their path to accessing those resources. And we offer this training in both English and in Spanish. And this is also a training that, you know, as Harold mentioned, it was designed to be in person. So our team has worked pretty creatively to ensure that people have had access to this training as it's made its transition into the virtual realm. So this sometimes involves just some strategies that we've had to kind of really put our heads together and connect with people about what barriers they have. The digital divide is very, very real. And we want to ensure that people were not left behind. So, you know, there have just been, you know, just different types of outreach that we've done. We've provided a lot of kind of tools that we've developed to clearly outline how people can access the training. And then we've also done a lot of individual support with people. Sometimes we'll hop on phone calls or Zoom calls to screen share and ensure everyone feels comfortable with the technology that they need to join the training. And yeah, that's been really critical to us because again, we want to make sure that, you know, for anyone who has the interest or need to learn more about any of these trainings, that technology is not the thing that separates them. And this has been also very, very true of our mental health first aid and youth mental health first aid programming. This is something we were looking forward to offering in Spanish as well, but they haven't converted some of the online resources to Spanish yet, but we are awaiting that very eagerly. And this is an 8-hour training. It's also a skills-based training to cultivate just the skills that people would need to recognize and respond to signs of or symptoms of mental health challenges. It's not to help people diagnose or anything of that nature, but just to recognize when someone might be in need of some support and what supports there are in our community for that, and how we can just better connect with each other and understand each other along the way. So our reach for this whole project has really been focused on not only just training people of our community, but also like specifically strategizing to reach out to some community leaders, looking at nonprofits like the Los Angeles Education Partnership, the Dangerfield Institutes, which serves foster families, and Wellness, which provides some direct mental health services to members of the community. And we've also really focused in on a lot of our faith centers. There's so many community leaders there that provide a really supportive role. And we've also done a lot of outreach to schools and universities. And this is something we're continuing to do, and we're actually looking to expand in our third year of this project. And it's just been a tremendous, again, source of reward, because we've had so many people go from one training. If they do the adult training, they'll want to also expand into the youth training. And we've had people refer others into the training, and we've had just really, really strong evaluations that have encouraged us to just expand our outreach, expand our capacity to bring this to more people. And this has also been a great intro for a lot of people to NAMI Urban LA. And it's also strengthened a lot of the ties that we have to these organizations, so that as people continue to access services, people don't fall through the cracks. If people are going to the Los Angeles Education Partnership, for example, people there now know very clearly that NAMI Urban LA has a plethora of free education resources. And it's a community hub that they can also reach out to. So with that, I will pass it to Araceli, who's been a great supporter of this project and the other young adult programs. And has been just like an amazing instructor, and someone who's just been an inspiration to me as we've addressed some of the challenges, and really had to pivot and learn so much during this time where there's been like a great changing need for some of our programs, but also just a great time of connection when so many people felt isolated. So thank you, Araceli.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm Araceli Hernandez. Nice to see everybody on here. Big shout out. Thank you for making time and just registering and being here. Again, a shout out to my team, to Maria, Harold, Nareed, everybody being on here. And also very grateful for our team that could not make it today, but we love them. NAMI Urban LA, thank you. So yes, I was gonna go a little bit more in depth on what we offer. Just like how we offer in English, we also have these resources in Spanish. So we offer classes de familia familia face-to-face before COVID, and right now we are offering this virtually through Zoom. We do have persona a persona, we have bases y fundamentos, and also for our support groups, we have grupos de apoyos para familiares and conexión that we do have daily happening. Again, if you guys want to get more educated or just get more links, resources, our website, namiurbanla.org, has a lot of resources on our page. All our calendar is always up to date, and we always appreciate the feedback that we get from people visiting our website. So shout out to our webmaster, Melissa. And just like Mr. Harold was mentioning, actually starting in July, we kicked back our Korean family support group. We're so excited. And I was also going to mention, I'm also the social media coordinator. So if you guys ever want any research or anything, you can always just message us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We try to be as active as much. We like to share as much information and just bond with our community. And also love seeing NAMI community around America, not just California. NAMI Arkansas, NAMI Texas, they would be reaching out and liking, communicating. And I'm sorry, I think my Wi-Fi was unstable for a second. But yes, it's very exciting, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to work with the English and the Spanish, and also to manage our social media. And I also want to give a great shout out to Rosa Alvarez. I'm not sure if she is on the phone call with us. I don't know if she is, but biggest shout out to her. She is probably one of the most hardworking members I've ever come across. I know she's been part of Nami for 5-6 years, and she's just amazing at what she does. And you can call her at 9-10 p.m. and she will answer your phone call, and she would guide you to what you need, whether it be resources, someone to talk to, or just offer her support groups or classes that she always has them coming every year. So I'm very grateful. I think she's here. I don't know if she wanted to maybe say hi or say a little words just quickly. But thank you, Rosa Alvarez, for everything you do. We really appreciate you. Nami Urban LA would not be the same without you. And if not, just keep on enjoying the presentation. But yeah, I'm very grateful with doing QPR in Spanish and English as well, helping our youth. We get our youth involved in our community, and just I'm very grateful also that we have this month for us to talk about our resources, our community. I'm grateful for everybody who's here today. And also when we just talk about how we're involved, how we can end the stigma, how we're pushing these free certifications for QPR, mental health first aid, we're also telling them, talk about it, tell your job, tell your coworkers, because it's kind of getting there where some places are looking at your resume and they're liking that you have a QPR certification, a mental health first aid certification. But yes, Rosa, did you just want to give a quick words out there? Thank you so much for being on the call. Hello, Rosa? Okay, maybe she's not aware that she's unmuted.
Okay.
Yeah, no, just to hi everybody, just to express gratitude to Nami Urban Los Angeles, any of the board member, and DMH also. So in all the other organizations that are part of bring this program to the community is a lot of involvement from different organizations, church.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you, Rosa.
Mhm.
Workers.
Okay. And I believe that was it for my part, Nurit, unless I have another slide.
Mhm.
And thank you again, Rosa. We really appreciate you. I think you are muted,
Maria?
Nurit, or yes.
Did we lose Maria?
I think if Maria's there, she can go and talk about her part.
Yes.
Oh, there she is.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Like everyone mentioned, my name is Maria. I am, well, in title, I would say it's a Latino Outreach Coordinator. In reality, I help out in all little aspects of different programs. Like Nori mentioned, and Araceli as well. I help with I am one of the instructors for the QPR training, as well as the mental health first aid, the QPR also in Spanish. I have started with NAMI in 2018, so it would be a little bit over 3 years now. And the main focus of my work is sort of what you would call email marketing. So now, especially since quarantine started, it's a little bit harder, right, to have any outreach in-person events where you can see members of your community and tell them about our programs. So because of this shift, I've we've taken on more towards expanding with Araceli as well, our presence online, so that our community could still see that we're still carrying on our programs. Unfortunately, since we're not able to all be in the office, so when anyone comes to ask about what we do, so we try to make it so that we have at least have an email blast on what is going on, what the classes we're offering through Zoom or any other event. I believe maybe soon we are having a Familia with Rosa in person. So I'm looking to send that out. I'm also, I work, since I'm doing a bit of email marketing, I've also taken up working on any of the flyers we send out, as well as any documents, since we do have a big focus on Spanish speaking programs because of the community we serve. I make sure anything that needs to be translated or double check to see that the Spanish is there, is everyone is able to understand from the Spanish speaking community. So anything that would be sent out in English can be also sent out to our Latino community. Like Harold said, a lot of the community that is monolingual, so they do need that sort of translation and middle person. I also do take the calls when I was in the office. It would be in the office, but any of the calls in Spanish. I know we have Rosa and Ana who do a great job with the outreach. But if anyone is ever needed in the office with needs to call the office or just in general and needs someone to speak Spanish, I am there. I still have the line. So I know that thank you to DMH and a lot of referrals that we get from them towards anyone that needs to take the any Nami courses due to having to show them in court or anything. So community members call and they would rather speak to, like they said, someone that is from their community, someone that speaks Spanish, so they could sort of better understand what classes they have to take and any of that. So I usually take those calls, and I guess I would like to say that as a peer, I am very passionate about mental health, about reducing the stigma, and thanks to my NULA family, NULA community, I felt like I've learned a lot more about mental health support in the LA County area, and yeah, I hope to continue with the NULA community to help this underserved, underrepresented community, and very happy that we are celebrating everyone this month.
Thank you, Maria. So just a few things that people touched on there. It's very important, to understand how to reach communities, and sometimes that's a very nuanced activity. Not one approach fits all. There are areas, I can't say we decided, we realized early on that to be successful, we needed to partner, and we needed to partner with the faith-based communities in our area. And that's something that's important in our Black and Brown communities, and those have different nuances. And, just because they speak Spanish doesn't mean they're Catholic. We have a lot of members from Central America where it's more Protestant based, and you do outreach a little differently, and we have faith-based leaders, program leaders, who became program leaders at Nami Urban Los Angeles, not because they were faith leaders or ministers or pastors, but because they had loved ones who suffered from mental illness. And they wanted to get involved and take up that mantle. And we've been very successful in expanding our partnership with faith-based organizations. Nori talked a little bit about our partnership with Spirit Health, formerly Dignity Health, and the Catholic Initiative. I think they merged to become one to do outreach, around trauma and resiliency. That was a tremendous opportunity for us to work with them and to be funded to deliver trainings and educations in the community, to get people in our organization trained to do these things. I mean, that was fantastic. We also partnered with LA Care. It's a big health insurance provider and everything for people around LA County. Through them, we've been able to offer access to internet access for people who don't have it, especially people who want to take advantage of our programs and services, but find themselves on the opposite side of the digital divide. So they've made it possible by partnering with them for us to be able to provide hotspots and Chromebooks to people who wish to participate in our programs, but haven't been able to because a lack of internet access. So that's one we're working on and continuing to roll out as well. So that's very important. Of course, it goes without saying that the Department of Mental Health is a big partner with us. And many of the things that we do in the community, we do because of what we understand is available, in the Department of Mental Health. So we stay involved with that and take every opportunity we can to be involved in advocacy issues around mental health and mental health programs in Los Angeles County. Rowena Rucker, who's not with us today, kind of heads up our Nami Smarts opportunity to train people in the community how to be advocates, for the community, for better programs and services, from the providers in our county. So it's through activities like that that we hope to achieve sustainability, through Nami or through Nami, California, when it came up most recently with this, COVID outreach through CalHope. We had a couple of members who came back. Carolyn Winston and Daniel Mayak have come out and working in that program with us. We hope to be able to continue to retain them even at the end of that initiative, because we really think the need is there, and it's part of our desire to increase our ability, to do outreach in the Los Angeles area, along with that and our other NAMI partners, NAMI West Side, which is a big partner of ours, NAMI Long Beach, and we've also been working with NAMI Antelope Valley, which is in the north of LA County, and having really a lot of need there. And we're working diligently to see what we can do to be of service there as well. So, but all of that just to say that partnering is essential, partnering with mental health providers, kind of a referral system between us. We refer people to providers we know that provide mental health services. They refer families from the clients that they're serving to Nami, to partake of our program offerings. So it's a reciprocal relationship we have with doing that. And I think the community as a whole benefits from that. And lately we've been getting a lot of referrals from the judicial system as well. And we get a lot of a lot of reasons for that. And sometimes it has to do with domestic violence situations, or the Department of Children and Family Services, and they've been court ordered to get education. That's something that that we do, and we want to continue to do. And a lot of our members and community members, people of color in general, find themselves involved with the criminal justice system. So we've expanded our support group offerings to where we offer a specific support group specifically for justice-involved families. And we have attorney members who will make themselves available for consultation free of charge, to get legal advice that we're not qualified to do, but they can do that. But we do know about the process, and we can help families work through that process. So, and that requires us to be involved in a lot of activities in LA County, like the Alternatives to Incarceration Initiative, Measure J, funding for that. There's lots of things in the county that we need to be involved in, because as it pointed, this pandemic pointed out, all communities are affected, but they aren't affected equally. And in the communities we serve, we have the worst outcomes. So we need to do whatever we can to try and mitigate that. So that's why we need to do that and try to, maintain our sustainability by partnering and continuing to grow and expand the services that we make available to the community. So I think I'll kind of open up for questions at this point. If there are questions. Angela?
Thank you.
Mhm.
So let's see. I'm going to go over here, check the chat. And thank you to everyone. There was a lot of great praise coming in throughout the presentation. A lot of folks that were really excited to see this information being presented. And thank you, Maria, for sharing the link in the chat box here. So yeah, if anyone is participating that has questions, comments, you can go ahead and enter those into the chat box. The panelists are available to answer any of those questions, and we'll see if anything comes in. I want to say thank you to the team for being here today, presenting this information on all of the amazing things that you're doing in your space down in Los Angeles. And, Harold, you mentioned how important it is to keep talking about how, while we have access, not everyone has access, and that access isn't always equitable. And so, continuing to have that conversation, continuing to remind folks, throughout is so important, and was one of the reasons we were really excited to have you and your team here with us today. The work that you've been doing through COVID, I know working at the state office, we've been able to talk with a lot of our affiliates across the state, and it was really difficult for services to continue. And so, seeing how much work is being done, and again, just thank you to everyone for sharing all the different things that you're doing for the affiliate on behalf of communities and family members. It's really amazing. I don't have any questions here. Again, just a lot of folks sharing thanks and praise for the work that you're doing. And so we do have the contact information here for folks wanting to get in touch with those at Urban LA. Let's see. Oh, here we go. We have two questions. So the first one here is, are there particular strategies that you use to deal with cultural stigma when you encounter that in the community?
Everything sort of depends on the community. If we have the expertise and there are people on staff who are of the community with the question that poses the question, then certainly, we would endeavor to have them be the respondee, to those questions. But other than that, it's just, we, again, like I said, our strategy is one toward community empowerment. That means looking to the community to get individuals who are open to our programs and services to partake of the training and stuff that we have to offer, so then they can deliver that in the culturally appropriate way back into the communities.
I can speak a little bit to that as well, like as it kind of appears in some of our like mental health first aid trainings. So for mental health first aid, sometimes that's like the first program that someone might participate in related to mental health. But something that we always try to do is like kind of like allow that person to express themselves like without feeling judged. I think that's kind of hard, and that's sometimes what allows some of those stigmatizing ideas to proliferate, is just like not feeling like they can have a conversation about it, but then also encouraging people to challenge themselves to open their minds about maybe like less stigmatizing ideas, or just to also provide like, statistics, or like, just like facts that can kind of like dispel if there's like a myth that they're kind of it seem to be like reflecting that they believe in, or like and we'll also just like acknowledge that we're all in the process of learning. I think that's something too that helps people feel like less judged, is just saying, I'm constantly, finding new ways of like integrating like less hurtful language into my vocabulary. And also just acknowledge that like so many things that people used to say, like they don't say anymore. And like the needle has moved, and just that it moves because we all are working together to help it move. But yeah, I think, absolutely, like saying all this from like a very culturally sensitive point of view is really critical as well. Because, people sometimes are translating from another language, and that translation might not land correctly, but just it's a matter of sometimes offering people options and encouraging them to kind of do some internal work, because that's what makes the change like lasting. We don't want people to just be like, oh, I'm not going to talk now. We want people to kind of figure out ways of owning language that's less stigmatizing for themselves, and then also maybe encouraging other people to take that on as well.
I think if I can add one thing that I think we've also done, and Harold, everyone done very well, is we've thankfully found leaders in that community, right? So we do have some instructors who are pastors, who other individuals from that community see them as sort of as like I said, as leaders. And in that way, sort of it encourages like the pastor. We have, I think, a pastor who will encourage everyone there to take the classes, right? And it's in a religious organization where maybe sometimes mental health is not so spoken about so much. So, and then, like I said, with Rosa and Ana, who are also leaders in the community, sort of people see to them as who to follow, as the rule to follow. So finding and encouraging those individuals who are examples of leaders in the community, I think also encourages everyone else to take into account that cultural stigma that there is, and hopefully break some of the barriers that there are there.
Thank you. We do have a couple other questions. The first one is, can you elaborate on the issues with the access to the network in the minority community and what NAMI Urban LA has done to address the access to internet issues?
Yeah, I can address that. It's a big issue. Sometimes we take it for granted. You just walk over and log on, or pick up your phone and log on, or do some task from your phone, but it's very hard to do, a 12, 8-week family to family class from your iPhone. It's very difficult. And sometimes, in the home, the kids may have, an iPad or something from school, but, the parents need to be able to access it to take our classes, or they aren't able to do that, or attend support groups. We partnered with an organization called Human IT, who works in our community as well. And their funders would fund them for iPads and to some extent hotspots for those community members that qualify. So we talk to them, and that was particularly attractive to us, because if we can work with them, and do the verification and all that, the qualification, get the equipment, they provide online support, both in Spanish and English. So we had very much the same, clientele. So we work with them, and, we, having a little bit of a rough start trying to make all of our procedures fit together, but it is working, and we're looking forward to it. And again, because, we're able to get the Chromebooks from them. You can get new or refurbished, depending on what your budget is, and they will help them, set it up and, get, Google or Gmail accounts if they need that. But they do have access for the technical support as well. So, and that's a huge issue for many in our community. And this is, our attempt to address that is by working with Human IT.
That's awesome. Thank you. We've got one more question here. What efforts are being made to connect with the homeless population? What's working or not in meeting their needs?
Well, homelessness is one of those big issues that intersects with about everything, and we don't have to look very far from it. Actually the parking lot right behind our building, comes twice a day, and it's a regular stop for the LA Housing Services Administration. People who are looking for housing are a unique group. They need lots of programs and services. Most of our stuff is aimed at, at families and individuals. We don't ask them about, their ability to use the equipment. As long as they qualify, they have some form of public assistance, then, we can help them get access to the equipment. And, then you can work with like I said, the LA Housing Services Administration to look at community spots where they may be able to get connectivity. If they choose to still try it. But we be honest with you, we haven't had a lot of requests from homeless populations to participate in most of our programs and services, except for, you know, some of our peer programs. And we are working with the Peer Services Center, you know, the one that we had and the ones we hope to have in LA County. So hopefully, you know, that will be a place that they can go and comfortably connect at any time to be able to log into our peer support groups or Nami Connections programs.
Yeah, I can also add a little bit as well, you know, in terms of the cultural trauma and mental health resiliency project. We have provided trainings to organizations that do provide services to people who are experiencing homelessness. So kind of like a capacity building training for people who not always, you know, not everybody who enters our training, it's designed to really be accessible to anyone. So a lot of the people who will join our trainings, especially from like mental health organizations, will be people who are case managers or people who are other staff members who might not necessarily have licenses to, like, you know, provide direct mental health services, but who are interfacing with people who are experiencing challenges that we can help them to better understand and support people. So we've provided one of our I believe our youth mental health first aid training to for a school that provides that, like, their entire school population is youth that are experiencing homelessness, as well as, you know, other organizations where they do work with a lot of individuals who are experiencing homelessness, such as West Central Mental Health Clinic and Wellnest and other kind of community fixtures in our area.
Thank you.
Yeah, just one little follow-up on that. Again, you know, it's kind of come back to that partnering piece. You know, you kind of have to look to your area of specialty and what you can do and try to partner with people where you see the gaps that are able to do that. So making sure that people who are providing homeless outreach services are aware of us and what we can provide to aid, assist, augment the services that they're providing for the homeless would be a way for us to go as well. Because we just have to do what we can and hope to partner with people who can walk that last mile with us.
Thank you. The partnerships are key. I mean, our partnership with you and the work that we're doing to the CCP, you know, we can't do the work that we do without the support of those working locally. So the partnership, I definitely feel that and hear that.
Yeah.
There's gonna check here, make sure. Is there any outreach and engagement being done with the homeless population in the surrounding areas? Actually, I think we talked about the homeless questions.
Yeah, we are we're at the epicenter of that area.
Yeah.
You know, it's where we are. And so, you know, we live with it very closely, and we're aware of the services that go on there. We've done homeless outreach services before, particularly in the Leimert Park area, where we partnered with an organization called Community Builds, an organization that was found up to build up resources in the community, you know, after the LA riots some time back. And we really had teams of, we actually hired 3 homeless vets and 3 formerly incarcerated women of color to go and do community outreach to really just understand who was homeless there, who was in the parks, why were they there, you know, what was going on. And we culminated that whole activity after about 5 weeks of just doing interviews and observations and, you know, handing out hygiene kits and working with people at that level. You know, we found out some of the real barriers to getting people services were things like, you know, identification. they couldn't get it, or, what other services they really qualified for. So we partnered with, with community bills, with the Department of Mental Health, with the Department of Motor Vehicles, with the records departments to see, how we could bridge a lot of these barriers, to people getting, getting housing. And sometimes, they work, sometimes they work for a while. And it's why I talked about sustainability. Most of the time they would work for a while, but then, the problem would reappear. So you have to do things in a sustainable way where you keep addressing the same issues repeatedly.
Thank you. So I don't see any other questions in here. Check the list here. Thank you, Maria, for sharing that information as well. There's some links in the chat box. And then thank you, Wendy's shared some messaging in the chat box as well, her work with the county. And so wanting to continue the discussion with you all. So we can go ahead and the contact information here, Wendy, you can get in touch with the folks at Nami Urban LA. So I think that's all the questions that we have here. I know we have a couple of slides. Let's see. So we'll go ahead. We'll swap out. If you want to go ahead, Nori, we can stop sharing your screen and I'll have Ragini pop our slide here. So yeah, so we do have our event evaluation. We'll put that link into the chat box. Does say to sign up for our next town hall. We haven't released our schedule for the next few months yet. So once we do, we'll go ahead and get that information out to folks through our listserv and on social media. But if you have any questions, anything, follow up from today's event, any thoughts, questions, last minute things that you think of maybe after we leave here today, you can always reach out to me. My information is here on the screen. It's angela@namica.org. You also have the contact information for the folks down in NULA. And we're available to answer any questions that you might have, continue any of these conversations. And so we invite you to take our evaluation survey. We'd love to know how we're doing. If there's any topics or any things that are being covered across the state that you'd like to learn more about, let us know. One of the things we love about these town halls is it is one of the ways that we can connect you all with folks doing work across the state and at the state level. And so with that, I just want to thank all of our presenters today. It was an amazing panel. You're doing such wonderful work. I'm really excited that we had the chance to highlight that today. And I thank all of you for joining us, spending some time with us this afternoon. And with that, I'll say have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you at our next event. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.